So hey guys, it's Mr. Dom Rocks here, and today I am in essence just covering one little piece of software. And I know I've done a bunch of different things before like this, but I'm focusing on one specific piece of software, and it all comes from my favorite guys. My favorite graphics card provider is actually nVidia. Now, nVidia Geforce Experience has been around for quite a while, and in its early stages was very basic, did some game optimization stuff, focused purely on being able to create settings to best optimize your game before you even get into the game. So it just all your graphics settings, so you don't have to dick about once you're in game. You can just jump straight to it, get into play, which is great. And that's what this does. You know, this does all legitimate games that are installed on your system, any copies and stuff like that, it won't be able to scan, and it only supports legitimate games. That's great. So why am I talking about nVidia Geforce Experience when we already know all of the features that are out there? Well, they've brought out some new features. The latest Geforce Experience version 2.0 is adding some great new features that I think most people are going to like. And I know I'm going to like, and I'm going to probably take advantage of. And it shows that they're listening to their core audience, i.e. you, me, and the rest of the internet and the world. You know, every people who are purchasing their cards, and they're after advice, they're after what do you want us to do next with our software. So this is what the push is. So I ticked include beta drivers, and I got the latest update for nVidia Geforce Experience. That's version 2.0. I'm not installed the beta drivers just yet because I don't really need to, and for the games that are listed here, it doesn't really affect me. I don't have the first two. I've got Sleeping Dogs. I finished it, probably won't play it again, and the others are so negligible it's not a big deal. And I don't have SLI 700 series, so even there, I don't need to install them. That's pretty much all it's giving, is some reduced load times and some performance increases. Battlefield 4 isn't listed there, so I'm not really bothered. But let's move on. That's in regards to the latest beta drivers. But we're talking about nVidia Geforce Experience. Obviously, with the Geforce Experience, you've got your game optimization, your shadow play, and your LED visualizer. This is only for graphics cards that actually have those LEDs, so an EVGA card, a standard OEM card from nVidia, you've got a Titan, etc, etc, etc. Unfortunately, my GTX 780 does not have any of these LED visualizers, and my side panel doesn't have a window on it, so there's no perspex to see through, nothing shiny going on there, so it doesn't much matter. What we do have specifically is some release highlights for version 2.0, which came out today, which is actually out on the 7th of April 2014, and we're going to look at those release highlights in brief. And I'm just going to talk about my experience using the software. So we get some added support for GTX notebooks. So any GTX, any graphics card or laptop or notebook graphics card, the 800M, the 700M, or the 600M GPUs are now supported by Shadowplay and the Geforce Experience version 2.0. Added support for desktop capture. It says you need to use the latest drivers. I'm actually using the latest non-beta drivers, so the sign drivers, which work fine. Requires aero mode enabled. Now I'm using Windows 8.1, and as far as I'm aware, it does not have aero mode, so how am I recording my desktop? I don't know, it's still working. And obviously you can only record your desktop using a desktop GPU, which makes perfect sense. And that is in essence what I'm doing. This entire video is being recorded using the latest update from Geforce Experience 2.1. 2.0. Get the right words, Dom. So we also have adds native 1920 by 1200 capture, which is great. So anyone running that resolution now gets a native recording capture that resolution. When you Alt-Tab in your game, it doesn't terminate, it pauses it. So when you Alt-Tab back in, it continues the recording. So if you have to check something and your game pauses, you can get straight back into it. There's no pressing extra keys, it just does it all for you. Video folders are now created when a video is saved instead of at game launch. Just reduces some of the load time, I guess, or the usage time, so it just done. It does it after the fact rather than before it. adds advanced quality options for Twitch streaming. Now, with Shadowplay, you can stream directly to Twitch with your webcam, but at the moment it doesn't support any overlays. You can't do any green screen like I would like to, or I do with OBS. And you can't have any additional images and overlays that you can with XSplit and OBS, etc., etc. So you're limited there still, and I'm assuming that nVidia are listening to streamers, listening to the hardcore users of their graphics cards, people who buy their products, and they're going to add these extra things in eventually, which is going to be a great piece of software. It's going to be all in one. You don't have to have additional pieces of software to do things. The only thing that is going to be missing is like Twitch alerts and a few other things, unless you can specifically add those additional things to the overlays. So they've got to be able to capture like Twitch alerts, which is an application I use, which shows and notifies when I get a new follower with audio, shows if I get a donation, and it's great in that respect. Twitch alerts, you're combining the things that OBS and XSplit already have into one piece of software that works off your GPU, that reduces your load on your CPU, is always an added bonus. We're going to have your Twitch streams will automatically be tagged with the name of the game, or the game name, which is fantastic. So there's no manually doing it. You change game, you continue streaming, and it will do that for you. That's great. You could pause and resume your broadcast. And so instead of going offline, you can pause your video while staying online, maybe still talking to your subscribers or your followers, the people who are watching your stream. And you can tell them you're just switching and you're using nVidia Geforce Experience, so there's no funky overlay you can put in its place. And it's fixed a bunch of other bugs. On-screen indicator cannot be disabled. Fixes a bug where that cannot be disabled. In fact, fixes a password handling bug, improves microphone audio quality. There's some game stream stuff for the nVidia Shield, so there's some additional features there. I'm not going to dwell on these all too much. I don't actually have an nVidia Shield, so there's nothing I can do there. And then some various stability and bug fixes. And as ever, Shadowplay right here. We've got our typical functionality. We can record at 60 FPS. I've got mine set to record in-game resolution at 60 FPS, 50 megabits per second. So that's the highest bit rate it'll do, and that's using the H.264 video codec. Now I'm not going to play with any settings here because in doing so will actually stop the recording. But you can get the drift here. I got it turned on. I've already got a folder. You can actually assign where your temp folder is and where your main recording folder, where your video files will go to. Obviously, you've got shadow mode, your shadow and manual mode. I use shadow and manual mode so I can go straight into full recording or do a quick shadow recording. You can limit your shadow time to 5 minutes and less, or have it even longer, up to 20 minutes. It all down to the size of the hard drive you're recording to. You can change your video quality settings to high, low, medium, and even customize them slightly. And obviously, you've got the audio options here for in-game and microphone, which is great. And that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That is everything I'm going to cover in regards to the nVidia Geforce Experience version 2.0 update. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.